Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
I got you.
I'm sitting here alone again
I
without
know, this
my
is kind
cameras
of
on.
crazy.
Yeah, I'm sitting here by myself. Tom's like trying to talk to me to make sure I did everything correctly, but I think we're good. But I'm
Actually, what
getting
you should have done is you and Tom should have just
that.
podcasted this time. That
No,
would have
what
been a
we
really
should have
fun.
done is we should have flown to Palm Springs.
Oh, you should have. Yes, I'm broadcasting live from Palm Springs, California, not to be confused with Florida. We're all the way on the West Coast this week for a little meeting out here, and we're in the valley. And literally, I'll post some pictures, but the valley is just surrounded by mountains. It's quite beautiful.
It's like this rare spot in California. It's such a cool area. I've never actually been to Palm Springs, but I've heard the coolest things about it.
So this is my second time here. Last time we were here probably about 4 or 5 years ago for the same conference, and then we're back here again. But let me tell you, my favorite thing of being here, and this is going to sound really weird, but is smelling them cutting the grass. It's like summertime in Ohio, and it's February in California.
Yeah,
It just smells like fresh grass clippings.
that is such a great smell, and you definitely, miss that this time of year. All of those like outdoorsy smells.
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen any snakes, so that's good. But I'm sitting poolside and just soaking in the sun. It's 69, but it feels like it's 80 because it's just sunny and I'm used to such cold weather.
Oh, I just want warmth on my face right now. That probably feels so good right now.
Yeah, it does. It feels lovely. But getting here, we actually had some interesting. Our connection in Minneapolis was so tight that we had to run to our plane. And when I say run, it was like we got left at gate A and we had to get to C.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to sprint, and they were announcing our gate closure right when we were there. So Bill left. He took off with his long legs. I was running behind him. My shoe fell off, and then our friend, who happened to be on the same flight, Adele, she was behind me. She's like, "You have to work out to make your flight connections." I mean, it was crazy. Our luggage did not make it. So at 3:00 in the morning, we still had no luggage, which was 6:00 Ohio time. Bill walked to the front desk and got our luggage, so we were able to have some clothes to wear today. So that was nice.
Yeah, but you didn't have anything until then. When did you land
No,
yesterday?
we got in here at 10:30 in the morning,
Uh-huh.
and then it's about a 45-minute ride out to the resort. And we had some lunch because we'd not eaten all day. We were hungry, and I would have made different choices if I would have known the day would have unfolded. I got a delicious Brussels sprout salad. But I would have had protein if I would have known that would have been my only meal all day because my husband fell asleep and he never woke back up. So at 9:30 at night, I'm like, I wish I had some munchy crunchies in the hotel room.
Seriously, that's the only bad part about staying in a hotel versus an Airbnb or something is you really don't have your snacks. If you just want to sit and have some snacks or something. My kids always throw a bag of chips.
You would have packed Takis.
I would have. In fact, when we went to New York, Olivia and I packed a bag of Takis so we could eat them in the hotel.
Yeah,
Not to be
no
confused,
they
are the Trader Joe Takis. They are good for you Takis. They are not the real Takis. Just a heads up.
So I don't feel like any Takis are good for you.
Oh, they're good for you. They're all natural.
They are good. I'm just not sure they're good for you.
I think in moderation, they're probably fine. I have an issue with the amount that I eat. Although I've not eaten any today, and I went to Trader Joe's yesterday, and I bought 6 bags. And
wait, didn't you get 10 bags the last time?
Well, yeah, but that was a month ago.
They are small bags.
They're not large bags, just in my defense. And there's not a Trader Joe's super close to us. So I have to drive 20 minutes to a half hour to get to one. And I was going to the dentist yesterday, and there is a Trader Joe's right by the dentist. So I thought, oh, I better just go.
You had to stop. So how did the dentist go? You went to the new dentist.
I did. I mean, I've been to him once before, but I have no cavities, which is great. He did tell me I don't floss well enough on the bottom, which I could have told you. You know what was interesting is I actually do floss quite a bit, but I use those little flosser picks, and he told me that those are actually not good. So.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Why are those not good?
They do not get deep enough into your gum tissue. And so.
But you use the ones that are green from Costco that you put in between?
Yeah.
And he says those aren't good.
He said they're not good enough. They're fine if you he goes, if you need to get popcorn out of your teeth, they're fine. He said, but to actually floss your teeth the way that a dentist would want you to floss, then they're not.
What's the dentist, Dr. Rogish? Not to be confused with Bob Rogish.
Nope, different Rogish. Um,
Different road. There is no way I'd let Bob work on my teeth.
Gosh, no. No, he says that you should use like the thick threaded regular
The old-fashioned
floss.
floss.
He said that's still the best you should use. But otherwise, he said my teeth look great. He says that I have to get eventually a retainer that I have to take in and out every night. And I said, but I'm not going to do it. I know myself. And he said, I don't know what to tell you. You have to. I said,
So
oh,
why can't you get a permanent retainer?
because permanent retainers on top do not last very long. Because when you bite, you knock it with your bottom teeth. That's why most people do permanent retainers on the bottom and not the top. And I currently have a permanent retainer on top, and it has already broken. So once it
Did he make you a new one?
no, he said that once it really breaks, he said ride this one out as long as you can, and then when it really breaks, he'll make me a new retainer that I can take in and out at night. So he told me I have to be a big girl, which I really don't want to do that. So speaking of retainers, well, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
The dog ate Olivia's yesterday, so that's
No.
it's a quick $150. So that's fantastic.
Oh no, that's not good.
Yeah. Yeah. And the funny
Oh my
thing
gosh,
was
what?
she came downstairs and was like, oh my gosh, I left my retainers on my nightstand. And Tom started yelling at her that it was her fault. And I'm like, well, I kind of think it's the dog's fault. Like, she didn't really do anything wrong. So
Well, your dogs are so big that they can kind of like put their heads on the nightstand.
this is true. But he said that she shouldn't have had him on the nightstand, which she shouldn't have. But whatever. So anyways, that was the big drama at our house last night.
Oh boy. Well, I know I have a friend who she had she was getting a tooth, like a permanent one put in, but she had like one of those flippers until the permanent tooth was finished. And she put it on her end table and her dog ate that. So you can imagine how good that was.
Oh, no. That's way worse.
But her husband is an artist. And so he painted her retainer to look like a tooth because she had to go sing in church the next day.
Yeah, that would be so embarrassing. Well, I don't know if you guys remember. I know, Kristen, you probably do. But, a couple years ago, I had a really bad issue with a tooth in the back of my mouth that I ended up having to get a root canal with. And I'm pretty sure I had a piece of popcorn stuck in it the whole time. And that was the underlying problem. And to this day, the tooth still does not feel right. It still hurts. And he says there's nothing wrong with it. And I'm like, can we just pull it? Do I really need that tooth? Like, it's all the way in the back. No one would ever see. And he's like, you're fine. And he thinks I'm crazy,
Well,
I
Phil
think.
told me he wasn't going to marry me until I got a tooth.
Well, you did not have a tooth for a period of time. So
yeah, I had to wait because I chose to not have cadaver put in. I wanted to grow my own bone,
Yes.
So,
but it worked and it looks beautiful. So
yeah, you'd never know.
No, so that's good.
Yeah, you'd never know.
Yes.
So I don't have too much to discuss, but I do want to talk about like one travel faux pas. I don't think we've talked about this before, but it's kind of a pet peeve of mine. So on our flight coming out here, there were quite a few people who had super tight connections because, it takes like one person to push the button to connect like the ramp to the plane.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there was no one to push the button. So we had to sit on this airplane, which is the reason that we all almost missed our flights. And so they made the announcement, like, we have a couple of people who have really tight connections. If you could please stay in your seat and let these individuals off the flight first, it would be greatly appreciated, which I appreciated that they made that
great.
announcement.
Yeah.
And you know that no one listened. Like, there were several people that did, but most everybody stood up and tried to get off the flight. And it really pushes my buttons when they come from behind.
I find it to be so
and push
rude.
their way.
I don't remember who I was on a flight with. It's sometime in the last maybe year that happened to me. And there was a gentleman who was not a small gentleman. And he was, they literally, I don't even know that they finished parking the plane. And he was up and standing over me and hovering over. Actually, it may have been on the flight with you now that I'm thinking, maybe not. I don't know. But it was awful. And this guy just stood there. And we were kind of in the back of the plane. So we had like a bit to go before we were going to get off. It's like, you're all going to get off the plane. What are you doing?
Right.
Like,
right.
I just find people to be so rude with that. It is definitely frustrating.
Yeah, it didn't help us getting off. But one time, there were people like coming from the back to the front that were not missing flights, and Bill blocked them. He stood up and stood in front of them because he got so tired of this group doing it.
I like
I'm
that.
like, oh my gosh, we're gonna get in a fight in the airplane. Like, they were big muscle guys too.
Yeah, I like
Bill,
that.
just sit down. And he's like, I'm not sitting down. This is so rude.
People are ridiculous. So
it was funny. And then we'd done all this running on the airplane that Bill gets on the plane and he starts coughing. So he's like that person on the plane because we've been like literally huffing and puffing. And we had to get off the plane in Minneapolis and it was like -1 degree. And so like it was cold air. And so, and I'm just getting over my flu. And so my lungs are not completely like normal too. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to cough. And it was Bill. He was that person on the plane. So it took him about 20 minutes to settle in, but it was quite the scene us getting on this airplane.
It's not funny, but it like kind of is funny. I'm trying to think what else I was just going to say something and now I can't remember for the life of me what it was. I know what we could talk about. What are your thoughts on the Super Bowl halftime show now that it has ended and you've seen all the things about it?
So yes, no, you're fine. There's actually an entrance on the other side of the pool.
Do you believe that I'm sitting here in the snow and she has the nerve to be talking to people while we're
I'm
podcasting from
it's
the pool?
This
is the rudest thing.
To get into the pool. Oh, see, he left the snow too. We're from Ohio. Where are you from? Jersey. Oh, they're from Jersey. So you're having the same weather. So he deserves to be let into the pool.
I can't with you. I'm so mad at you.
It was a little complicated to get in. So the halftime show controversy. So, I like a little rap. It's fine. It's not like my favorite
I would
form
agree.
of music. But I thought the halftime show was fine. It was good. Like, I didn't mind it. He looked super happy. And then you hear everything afterwards.
I really loved his jeans. I'm just saying. And I found out that they're $1,300 jeans and that they're sold out.
Were they like Levi's or what were they?
No, it was some designer. I think like an Italian designer maybe. I can't remember. They said it on the Today Show this morning because that has been like all the talk is his jeans, which is only funny that I happened to make a comment during the show. I was like,
so I did too. Because I'm like,
we talked about it. I was like, I love those jeans. And
they said every millennial and Gen X mom has gone back to her drawer underneath her bed and pulled out the jeans that look just like that.
Yeah.
From American Eagle, probably.
$1,300 for those jeans. So I don't really follow like this Drake and Kendrick Lamar controversy, and that's kind of what a lot of it was.
Quite the rage.
But I think it's kind of funny. Like, is that bad that I was like,
well, then Serena Williams, I could have sworn that was her, like, bebopping
so
around.
I wish I would have realized it was her.
I did at the time. I'm like, I think that's one of the Williams sisters.
I did not realize it.
But she was doing her dance that she got like
she got in trouble for it. Yes, at Wimbledon.
Why did she get in trouble for the dance?
I guess
you're not allowed to celebrate.
I guess so. I think it's something like that. I don't really understand what she got in trouble for exactly, but
then you also get into these like all the innuendos, like that were in there about the racial things.
Totally,
that were involved.
There's political aspects to it. There's
it was
racial
political,
aspects.
racial.
But I just
it was very interesting.
I mean, and that I think is to be left up to interpretation. Whatever you want to interpret
right.
it
I think
as.
You can interpret lots of different
You can
things.
go pretty deep if you want to, whatever. And honestly, whether or not he actually meant for it to be that deep, I don't know. But I just keep laughing because there was this one part, like in the one song where he does apparently it's called a diss track, which I now know that's a thing. Like, I'm too old to know these things. So a diss track is clearly a song that you are like, that is an attack against someone else.
Dissing someone?
You're dissing someone.
Okay.
Yes. So it's a diss track. I've been educated by my 13-year-old son on all these things. And so apparently when he sang that, when he rapped, I won't say sang because it's not really singing, but when he rapped that song, he, the one part he like calls Drake a pedophile, and he calls his name and he says Drake, and he looked right in the camera. Yes, and the Super Bowl both, but like, and he looked right in the camera and he like had this like smiley smirk on his face, and I just can't help but laugh. I was like, oh, this guy's got like,
yeah, he got him.
Yeah.
So how much does he get paid to be the entertainment at the halftime?
I don't know, and I don't know the exact amount. And it is funny because I saw something else that said, something like, last year Drake made fun of like one thing about him and it blew up, and like basically like, how do you rebuttal this? Like, if you're Drake, like this guy just basically like made fun of you, called you a pedophile on the world's biggest stage at the Super Bowl.
Stage.
Right. Like, like there's literally no coming back from that as far as like a rebuttal. Like, there's nothing bigger. Like, what are you going to do? Like at the Olympics? Are you going to like?
And Taylor Swift gets booed and President Trump gets hurrah.
I'm like what is going on in this world?
Yeah, and then who defended Taylor? Serena Williams.
Serena
defended
Williams
Taylor.
did, yes.
She was
And then I saw there's this girl on, like, I don't know if she's on Instagram or TikTok. I don't have TikTok right now because I accidentally deleted it, and you can't get it back once you delete it. So I'm really struggling.
You and Campbell are the only two. I have it. I could give you my login because I don't ever get on TikTok.
Do you know that my daughter posted a TikTok about me yesterday, and I'm in it, and
You're dying because you can't see it.
I couldn't watch it. But the TikTok is this girl is a lip reader. She's deaf and she reads lips, and so she's always doing, like, at the Grammys. She did, like, she says what they're saying. So I love watching her. I find it to be super interesting. And she did Taylor Swift when she was getting booed, and Taylor literally is like, "What on earth is going on here? Like, what the heck?" Like, she was totally dumbfounded.
For these people, because, like, she just literally wants to go. Now, I think in the beginning she probably liked it a whole lot more, but, like, she just wanted to go watch her boyfriend.
For sure.
Right? Like,
for sure.
Everything she wears, everything she does is analyzed. Like, at some point you just want to go and be unnoticed.
I mean, they literally
think about it. I'm like, they wear clothes. Like, her outfit was actually fine. She wore a white tank top, a white blazer.
She did, but they still said it was a $6,000 outfit.
Oh, I'm sure it was. Did you see his outfit that he wore?
Oh, he looked like he was from, like, porn in the 70s.
Oh, my gosh. It was ridiculous. I was like, what are you wearing?
Totally
like,
ridiculous.
Definitely trying to.
Yeah, I don't know what he thought. I don't know what he thought he was doing with that, but.
I know. He should get some new fashion advice from Taylor.
Yes. But, yeah, they did say that her outfit still was, like, crazy expensive. But I did kind of feel bad for her in that situation. Like, I don't know. I feel like. Well, how would you feel? I mean, it's like 50,000, 80,000. I don't know how many people are in that stadium literally booing you for why? Because your boyfriend is on the team. Like, that's just so silly to me. Why would you boo
And he
her?
had such a bad game.
Oh my God, terrible.
Literally, I don't think he's ever performed that poorly.
No, I mean, he didn't do anything, like, at all. Like,
did you see the meme where it's like Travis yelling at his coach, who I happen to really like, the coach of the Chiefs? And he's like screaming like a picture, and it was like, I was going to propose to my girlfriend.
That's really funny.
Now you can't because your team lost.
Right. That is really funny.
I think there were also lots of bets whether they were going to break up, whether they were going to stay together.
Oh, I heard there were so many things like that. Yes. Oh, speaking of, at our little Super Bowl party, we did, like, squares and, all that kind of fun stuff. And did you hear that Jack won money?
Jack won money. He came in that night and he, like, showed us his $100.
Yes, he was so excited.
Yeah, he bought a new pair of boots.
Oh, that's something good to spend his money on.
Yeah, well, he said, now I can pay for my rodeo entrance fee this next weekend. And I'm like, oh, that was super, super responsible.
I like that.
And then he's like, can I get a new pair of boots?
Well.
So my mom's holding the fort down while we're out here. And it's just kind of funny. The kids, like, just like all the different things. Like, Grammy made chicken noodles and mashed potatoes and breakfast casserole, and they're having meatloaf tonight. And tomorrow night they're having tacos. And they went to Sleepy Rooster. My mom did with her friend Linda.
How did she like it? I've wanted to go there, and I've never been.
So I've never been, but
we should go.
Love it.
We should go one time.
They said it was so good. They said the breakfast potatoes were the best breakfast potatoes they've ever
Let's go one
had.
day next week or something. I want to, once you're home, I want to try and go.
So we should go to Sleepy Rooster.
Yeah, let's do that for sure. I've wanted to go since it opened a couple years ago, and I've just never had the opportunity to go.
Yeah, no, I've never been either.
Mm-hmm.
So Campbell told them to go there, apparently.
Oh,
so
that was good.
Campbell calls me yesterday, and she's talking to me about the dog. And so she's like, Sophia had a lump on her back, and she's like, so I checked it out. This is, like, gross if you have fatty ears. You're not going to want to hear this. So she's like, so I squeezed it. She's like the doctor pimple popper for animals, and it was obviously some type of a cyst or something that exploded.
Oh my
and
God.
So she's sending me pictures of this, and she said it was the greatest thing ever. She's like, it smells, like, all the things she's telling me. I'm like, this girl, she doesn't realize her calling is in the medical field. I don't even know what is going to get her. It
really is. The
calling.
fact that nothing like that grosses her out. Like, I'm pretty grossed out by that. Like,
she's like, Mom, you would have loved it. Like, you're really missing out. And so today she rushed home from school, and that was the first thing my mom said she checked.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, oh, Campbell, your calling is definitely medical.
I hope that she follows that. Yes, for sure.
I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. Well, we're about out of time here.
I was just
going to
say,
yes. With this new, what is my little app that I bought?
Cockatoo.
Cockatoo.
Mm-hmm.
It's telling you that it's 1940
we can,
on our time clock, so that's nice.
Well, I hope that you enjoy the rest of your time in the warmth, because we're supposed to get like a snow slash sleet slash rain slash ice storm tomorrow. So I hope you enjoy that.
Maybe we'll get stuck in Palm
So
Springs,
you laugh, but like
wherever I
they're
am,
saying
Palm
it's
Springs,
supposed to go
California.
into Thursday morning. And is that when you're coming home? When do you
So
come home?
we actually did get a thing that said we could reschedule our flight, but our flight doesn't leave here till later, and then we go through Phoenix. So I don't think we're going to try to extend. If we have to extend, that means you have to do our chores and take our dog.
Yeah, you better get home. You better come home.
So yeah, I think we're headed home.
Yeah, get your butt home.
Okay, Dana, it's your turn to push the button.
All right, here I go. Look I did it right, guys.
All
right, everybody have a great week.
Time, friends. We're mismatched.